I ain't gonna lie. The lottery was rigged. Just happens that Luka left the Mavericks, and then all of a sudden they got the number one pick. Yeah, okay. Okay, and they happened to win a coin flip against my Chicago Bulls. Okay. Okay, Cooper Flag should be a Bull is what I'm getting at. But anyways, I'll get my tinfoil hat out at a different time. We are here today with the NBA mock draft. As you can see, the Mavericks hold the number one pick. We'll leave the conspiracy theories for later. We have business to get into here in the first round mock draft. This will be the first of a few. I don't know how many we will be getting out there, but it's the day after the lottery, so figured why not get one out there. We got the combine this week. We'll hear more from teams about kind of what we are expecting them to go. So this could be video. If you see it next week, this video could be very inaccurate. We could hear maybe Dylan Harper is going to fall a little. We could be hearing maybe Ace Bailey somehow becomes the favorite. Maybe Nico Harrison has yet another blunder like he did with Luka, and maybe he thinks Cooper Flag's not the guy. I don't know, man. I don't really know what we're going to hear in the next few weeks, but we will make videos accordingly. And then obviously later today, I'm going to film a video for the Bulls, and that will come out tomorrow. But yeah, the number one pick, I'm not going to waste anybody else's time more than I already have. Cooper Flag is the guy. There's no conversation that needs to be had. Obviously, Nico Harrison has said multiple times they wanted to bring defense into the Mavericks organization. They got lucky. They won the lottery. Cooper Flag gives you defense. He gives you high-powered offense. Cooper Flag, a guy that you could expect to be an all-star within his first 2 seasons in the NBA. The Mavericks, they traded a generational talent. They just happened to get another one. Yeah, okay. But yeah, Cooper Flag's the guy. It's obvious. Things kind of do get a little interesting here with the Spurs because I don't think Dylan Harper is a home run pick here for them specifically because you do have De'Aaron Fox. You do have Stephon Castle. And obviously, there's always a possibility that somebody gets traded, right? I floated this idea around with my friend last night, De'Aaron Fox. Could maybe he be in some trade rumors leading up to the draft? Ultimately, though, the way I look at this, and I know that Dylan Harper is probably the guy that everybody expects to go number 2. I look here, though, I see Victor Wembanyama. I see the alien that is Victor Wembanyama, the 7'3" unicorn. Like, he don't come around very often, right? I look at the forwards. I'm not too impressed with anybody. Keldon Johnson's all right. The guards, though, I think you're set. I know Dylan Harper's there. I know he's going to be a great NBA player. But you have a chance to draft a second unicorn that can play the small forward, maybe even the power forward there in San Antonio. Ace Bailey and Victor Wembanyama teaming up would be absolutely nasty. I do understand Dylan Harper is on the board. I want everybody to know. I know Dylan Harper's the likely pick. I am just going to ride with that, though, for now. We'll maybe hear some more after the combine, which is, like I said, what we're going to look at. 76ers. The 76ers are in heaven right now if this is the board to fall to them. Tyrese Maxey's cool. He's a great offensive player. Jared McCain looked really good even though he did get hurt. You'd expect he'd probably be in plans long term. You might want to try to get off that Paul George contract, which, by the way, makes it a lot easier if Ace Bailey is there for them still. Joel Embiid, obviously, you're going to try to run it back with him and Tyrese Maxey. This gives you an out here at number 3. The top 3 teams didn't need to be in the top 3, in my opinion, but they got a lot of luck. Shout out to Adam Silver. Dylan Harper, though, playing alongside Tyrese Maxey would be an absolutely nasty duo. Even if they ever do move on from Joel Embiid, they do have a backcourt of the future there with Maxey and Dylan Harper. And then I feel like any combination here of the top 4, these are going to be the top 4 guys off the board. VJ Edgecombe, kind of just always felt like that 4th player in that group. Super athletic, super good defender. I think he'll probably be the best defender potentially on this Hornets team, which might be a bold statement. But VJ Edgecombe, I know you do have LaMelo Ball there. I know you have Nick Smith. I know you have a couple guards there. VJ Edgecombe's the pick there. He might be able to play some wing for you if you can't run him at one of the guard positions. Then we get to the Jazz. This is where the draft really starts here for me. Lauri Markkanen might be on the move this offseason. John Collins, don't know if he'll be back. It's going to tell you point guard's a big need. Isaiah Collier, Keontae George, I like him. Jordan Clarkson, I'm not sure if he'll be back, to be honest with you. Cody Williams, you drafted a wing already. Senzaball's been okay. Taylor Hendricks, you drafted not too long ago. I like the bigs here in Kessler, Filipowski. You don't necessarily need to go Kaman Malawach here. To me, you're talking about here probably going either guard, shooting guard, or small forward. Trey Johnson sitting there. I don't necessarily see it with Trey Johnson in terms of defensive upside. I know a lot of people talking about Trey Johnson right now are talking about 6'6", wingspan, could become a great defender in the NBA potentially. I haven't seen it in college, but I do know he is a really good, prolific scorer. I mean, I think when we clicked here, we said like 19 points a game as a freshman, right? Yeah. This dude can definitely score. I don't know if I can sell myself on his defensive game like I've heard some people kind of sell themselves on. He will be a defensive project, but he definitely has the tools. Offensively, I think he definitely hangs in the NBA. Trey Johnson here's the guy, though. And then we get to the Wizards. Their Wizards are a tricky team, man. I don't really love the Wizards roster in general. Bub Carrington, I like. He was their rep at the Lotto. Jordan Poole, he's all right. Kaishan George, solid. I didn't even realize AJ Johnson's there from last year. The Bucks guy, I guess he got traded at some point. I don't remember what he got. He came over in that Middleton trade, I would assume. But they got Middleton. This is Bilal Coulibaly. I really like. They just need basketball players, man. Alex Sarr, I mean, just drafted him, but I feel no long-term commitment to Alex Sarr, I'm going to be honest. He's okay, but if I could get an upgrade, I would. When I'm looking at this, though, I mean, obviously Jordan Poole, you look at Jordan Poole, he's the big-time scorer on this team. Bub Carrington, I really like what he brings. But to me, though, you really need a primary ball handler. You need a guy that can be the point guard of the future. And maybe they think that's Bub Carrington, but when I have an opportunity to draft Kasparas Shakashonis here at Illinois, the kid can make plays. We're going to look at his stats here. 15 points a game, 4 assists at the college level, rebounds the ball well. I think he will take some time to maybe get adjusted to the NBA physicality of the game. He's somebody that at times does fall in love with the step back three, but I do think he will be a really good playmaker at the NBA level, which is why we got him going here in the top 10. Kasparas Shakashonis, there he goes. And then you're hoping with Alex Sarr that he can maybe develop a little bit of a pick and pop game or pick and roll game there with Kasparas Shakashonis, because you saw it last year with Tomislav Ivicic at Illinois with Kasparas Shakashonis. Then we get to the Pelicans. The Pelicans, I don't really know what they would do. This is the one that tricks me the most here. Zion might be on the move. You'd probably assume he'll be on roster. I'm going to assume for now he'll be on roster. You just took Yves Missy. I don't love the centers there. Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, I like. CJ McCollum's not getting any younger. Maybe you look at guard. Jordan Hawkins is all right. Jose Alvarado's all right. DeJounte Murray's there. I don't know really what to do here with them. And I think, honestly, I might just go BPA here. Come on, Malawach. Interior defensively, you're going to look. I'm going to pull up his stats. His offensive game is going to need some work. I don't know if he'll ever develop like a good, consistent mid-range or anything like that. Maybe a three-pointer. But Malawach, 71 from the field, he'll get a lot of work in for you in the paint. And on top of that, Malawach is actually a really good free throw shooter. I think there's definitely a good shot there. I just don't really know if that is his game. But defensively, this is where you are making your money here with Kaman Malawach. Let's see if we can find an NBA comp here. Clint Capella, that's kind of disrespectful, don't we think? post-draft cat, low-end thumb maker. Ooh, that's a bad outcome. I ain't gonna lie. Brooke Lopez. Yeah, this guy though, I think he is somebody that defensively will be ready. I don't know offensively if he will ever take a leap really though to become like a 15 to 20 point per game scorer. But he is a guy that does have a shot. I just don't know if he will consistently shoot the ball. So he's going to be a little bit of a project there at number 7 for the Pelicans, but I do think he is an upgrade over Yves Missy. We get to the Nets. The Nets, they are kicking themselves. I think Kasper really fits in well with this team. D'Angelo Russell, I have no long-term attachment to. Cam Thomas, I really like. Keon Johnson might be on the move this season. The small forward roulette of a bunch of okay guys, not really long-term committed to anybody. I do really like Zaire, though, so maybe him. Power forward, you got Cam Johnson. You'd imagine you still keep Cam Johnson past this year, even though he might be a trade candidate. Big man Day'Ron Sharpe might be on the move here, so they go a bunch of different ways because nobody here has a long-term future necessary outside of maybe Cam Thomas, which kind of makes me want to go Derek Queen here. Nick Claxton, he'll probably be around, right? It's either Con Knipple or Derek Queen here for me. I think I'm going to go Con Knipple because that small forward roulette just looks really, really bad, and Con Knipple would probably at least be the second option off that, depending on whoever comes out on top. He would 100% be the second guy because you'd want a bench three-point shooter coming off the bench. Con Knipple, though, is the guy there. Derek Queen, I'm sorry. I just couldn't do it to Derek Queen. I don't want to see him in Brooklyn Nets uniform next year because I'm hoping he goes to the Bulls, but I don't think it's going to happen. We get to the Raptors, and this might be where Derek Queen just goes. Point guard, I wasn't super impressed with Emmanuel Quickley. Right here, the shooting guard roulette here, they're all going to run different positions. It doesn't matter. R.J. Barrett, really solid. Jacoby Walter was interesting, but I don't really know if he will fit into anything. Ochai Agbaji, somebody I liked out of college. Grady Dick, really solid out of him as well. B.I., they got B.I. there. Scotty Barnes, Chris Boucher. Big man, probably maybe looking for somebody, maybe a little bit of an upgrade there to Jakob Poeltl. With the guys on the board, though, Derek Queen sitting there, who I'm talking about, what I would be interested in there was him. And then my other guy here that I'd be interested in is Yegor Demon. Yegor Demon, simply for the fact that he's kind of this jumbo point guard, Josh Giddey-esque type of player. If you could get that and maybe upgrade over an Emmanuel Quickley and send Emmanuel Quickley either to the bench or trade him for some valuable bench assets, I think you're in good business. Now, what do I think they need more? Neither of these guys come in and immediately start. I think they would have to work their way up. Derek Queen is the more polished of the two players. I'm giving them Derek Queen. Can you draft Derek Queen, please? There we go. Derek Queen is the pick there. We get to the Rockets. Rockets, shout out to my boy Cam. Point guard, you look at Reed Shepherd, probably point guard of the future, Fred VanVleet there, but this team's really solid and really, really deep. Jalen Green, I expect he'll be back next year. Maybe looking for a backup shooting guard. You like this small forward depth here. Cam Whitmore, Dylan Brooks, Tari Eason, Bari. This pick could easily be traded, by the way, because they might be in the Giannis sweepstakes, so we'll talk about that if that does happen. But here, I know we have Amen, so I'm not really looking for like a jumbo guard type style in Yegor Demon. I don't really need a Colin Murray Boyles defensively, I don't think, because we do have Tari. And we got Tari, Bari, we got all of them. Asa Newell would be interesting here. I just can't get myself to do it. Maybe I think what we're going to do here is take Jeremiah Fears and have him potentially be... Not necessarily. I do know you took Reed Shepherd, by the way. I do know you took Reed Shepherd. But you do need somebody post-Van Vliet era to be at least a backup. And it might be a very bold pick here to go backup. But, hey, when you're a team like the Rockets that could be fighting for a championship here in the near future, you got to get players that can come in and be impactful and get them on rookie deals, because It's not going to get cheaper to win championships. The Blazers, I've talked to my Blazers boys. They all like this Asa Newell fellow. I tend to agree with them. They either want Concanipple or Asa Newell. And Asa Newell, somebody who was really impressive at Georgia last year. Offensively, I think he's going to come in and be a dominant factor. We could look here. Zeke Najee is a terrible comparison. But John Collins, if you could get a John Collins type of player out of him, it would be really, really solid. And I think defensively he will be able to hold his own in the NBA. So Asa Newell here is my guy at the number 11. The Bulls are on the clock. I want you to know that if we do not have Josh Giddey signed before the draft begins, because I believe free agency is after the draft, Yegor Demon is my pick here. But since I'm going to work off the assumption that the Bulls do re-sign Josh Giddey, we are going to look at the power forwards. Colin Murray-Boyles, I like the physicality. I really do. I think he is probably my favorite of the options here. Because I want a defensive player that can play that power forward. Patrick Williams, you've probably just given up on at this point. Hasn't been what you wanted. You got Modest Buzelos, who's obviously had a really good rookie year. Nikola Vucevic kind of doesn't fit into plans, but I don't know if you'll be able to trade him. We're going to try this offseason. Derek Queen would obviously be the number one guy, but he's not there. Center, you could look at Thomas Sorber. He's a guy that defensively I think will be really, really good. Also a guy that He could probably get you to maybe around those 15 points a game. But to me, man, I really want Colin Murray-Boyles. It's going to depend on what the Bulls do with the rest of their roster. Because obviously Vooch and Giddey and those questions need to be answered. Assuming we just have this same roster, assuming Vucevic will be back, assuming Giddey will be back, I'm taking Colin Murray-Boyles. If Giddey's not back, I'm taking Yegor Demon. If Vooch is not back, I might be taking Thomas Sorber or Rasheer Fleming. Those are my two Vooch insurances. I'm working off the assumption that both of them are back. I'm taking Colin Murray-Boyles. I really fell in love with his game over the last about week or so when looking into the lottery and guys that would probably more than likely end up in the Bulls range. I've really liked the physicality of Murray-Boyles there, Colin Murray-Boyles. We get to the Hawks. The Hawks, it's tough because Yegor Demon is just going to fit on so many teams. You have Trae Young, you have Dyson Daniels, you have Karis LeVert, you have Kobe Buffkin. You don't need guard. You don't need it. Forward, you had Zachary Ricochet, obviously last year. Jalen Johnson, really solid. You're probably looking at maybe a big man. And this is where, if a team like the Bulls don't go and get him, I think a team like the Hawks will. Thomas Sorber, I really like him. I think he'll be a good defensive player in the NBA. We'll see if his offensive game can get to that 15-point range. But I do think he will be an impactful player in the NBA. Then we get to the Spurs. The Spurs might just take a player ready to play at this point. They drafted Ace Bailey. They went the high upside, right? What would I be looking for if I'm the Spurs, right? Because Ace Bailey's probably running the 3 or 4 for us. Do I double up on wings and go maybe a Liam McNeely? Another high upside guy. You know what? I am going to go on Liam McNeely here. Liam McNeely will run the 3. Ace Bailey will run the 4. We're going to go and really gamble that we're going to get 3 of the best offensive big guys in the NBA with Victor Wembanyama. We're going to have Ace Bailey. We're going to have Liam McNeely. I really like Liam McNeely's offensive game. I just don't fully know if Liam McNeely... I don't know what his ceiling kind of looks like, so he's an interesting one for sure. This is the... Oh, my goodness. This is the Thunder. They obviously have Shea, Topic, J-Dub, Wiggins, Kassan Wallace, Isaiah Joe, Lou Dort, all these guys, right? Yegor Demon. Give them the jumbo guard. They're going to do it. They're going to sit him for a year or two, and he'll just end up being one of the better players on their team when they decide to play him. It's unfortunate. I really like Yegor Dimon's game, by the way, if you haven't been able to tell, but I don't really know if the Bulls can go with him, Giddey, Io, Kobe, all those guards. I mean, he does have the size to maybe run the 3. I don't know if he's going to be strong enough to run the 4. I don't even really fully know that he'll be strong enough to run the 3. But Yegor Dimon, a really good jumbo-sized point guard. Yeah, we get here to the Magic, and I'm looking for a couple guys here. Center is not great. Wendell Carter's the best of this group, probably. Power forward, I'm okay with. Maybe guard, Suggs, I like him, but Cole Anthony, Anthony Black really hasn't been anybody that's really stood out. Jace Richardson's on the board, and then I'm probably looking here. I'll be looking here at Rasheer Fleming. Those will be my 2 options here. Rasheer Fleming, I don't think is probably big enough to run that true center for them. So with that being said, I am going to take Jace Richardson to hopefully give some insurance there for Cole Anthony, maybe allow some trade to happen there with Cole Anthony. We get to the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves had the 17th pick in this draft. And here what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a guy that can play now. Center, I mean, obviously Danny Wolf would be a guy that could play now, but he's not getting on this team. Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, Terrence Shannon didn't even really get a play on this team. I'd be looking at maybe a small forward, maybe a wing here. Dillingham, Bones. You're more so looking for a wing here. Neat Clifford, a guy I really like, really looked great at Colorado State. And I do think he would be ready to play if called upon. So we're going to go Neat Clifford here for the T-Wolves. We get to the Wizards. Wizards went Kasparis Yakashonis. Now they get another selection, and this selection will probably be a wing or a power forward. Rasheer Fleming's still there, which I love, by the way. Rasheer Fleming's my guy. I was considering him for the Bulls even. We'll take him there. Okay, Con Knippel was our guy. I also hate that they get 4 picks in the first 30 picks because I don't like picking for the Nets, to be honest. Con Knippel was our guy at number 8. We were talking about maybe adding a point guard to this team, maybe a backup center as well. Point guard, our options are not phenomenal. Do you talk yourself into a Will Riley? Probably not after taking Con Knippel. Probably not going Seraph here. You might go back up big here, though. You could go back up big here and take Danny Wolf. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Danny Wolf here. We get to the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat, what do they need? They have Kello Ware. They have Bam Adebayo, obviously, running the 4 and 5. They both can interchange. Nikola Jovic is there. Wings, wing roulette right here. Jaime Jaquez, Keyshawn Johnson, Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, Haywood Highsmith, Duncan Robinson. All of them have played. Maybe looking at a point guard, Davion Mitchell, not a lock to come back. At least I don't believe he's re-signed. If you're losing out on Davion Mitchell, I really like LeBaron Philon. I think he gives you that kind of that grit that you get in Miami and the way Spoelstra likes to play. We're going to go LeBaron Philon here for them. We get to the Jazz. They went Trey Johnson. This, to me, we kind of already talked about. They had to either go wing or they had to go Trey Johnson. Trey Johnson, you're imagining, starts at that shooting guard position. Cody Williams maybe in that small forward. Is there a power forward or a small forward I absolutely cannot live without? Carter Bryant is interesting. Adu Thero I really, really like. Noah Sengwe I really don't know too much about. I really like Janai Broom as well, but he is in that older category. I think Carter Bryant is going to be the guy. A little bit of a project here, which is kind of why I want the Bulls to steer clear of him, but I do think his upside is pretty interesting if you do get to that point where you are able to get it out of him. We get to the Hawks. They just drafted Thomas Sorber, and he's going to fill in here at that center position, or at least that power forward position. So we're once again in this point guard, shooting guard roulette. Ben Serif fits in here. Do they double up maybe on the big men? Go Noah Sangwe here? I don't love their big men. Yeah, we're going to double up. We're going to go Noah Sangwe here, the 6'8 power forward out of France. We get to the Pacers, and I don't think they even need to draft here based off starting need. They are more so just looking for a guy that comes in and backs up. Benedict Mathurin, really solid, by the way. Andrew Nembhard, really solid, by the way. Tyrese Halliburton, obviously, superstar in the making right now in the playoffs, looking really talented. Pascal Siakam, Obi Toppin, Miles Turner, maybe looking up for maybe a backup center here, maybe looking for some wing depth. That's pretty much all I got for you. Wing depth, Will Riley screams the answer. There is not a solid answer at center at the moment unless you want to take a Janai Broom. Might be a little too early for that. Maybe Ryan Kalkbrenner. For me, on the Pacers, I know I'm really good right now, but what could potentially keep me in the loop for the next 4 or 5 seasons? I don't need a guy that can come in and contribute right now. I have a roster right now in Siakam, Halliburton, Turner that is relatively young and relatively in their window for the next 2 or 3 seasons to maybe make some noise in the playoffs. I'm going to go try to extend that and get Will Riley, who I think is a great offensive weapon at Illinois last year. I think he is the more physical of the two between him and Kasparas Giannis. Yes, I know Kasparas Giannis went inside the top 10, but watching the two, Will Riley was one that when he put his mind to it, he would attack the rim when he could. Like, Will Riley was going in, and there's finesse to his game. He's not going in and finishing straight through contact, but he goes into the body and goes around. A lot of finesse to his game. Doesn't shy away from contact. Doesn't shy away from the big moment. Will shoot the big shot. Solid defender, Will Riley. If you can't tell already, I'm a huge Will Riley fan. Really sad to see him leave Illinois last year. But Will Riley's my guy. Definitely going to get a Will Riley jersey after he gets into the NBA. And we get to the Thunder, who just took Yegor Dimon. My phone is going off. Why is my phone going? I don't even know why my phone's... Jackson Cantwell is about to commit, so we do have to speed this up a little. So we talked about Yegor Dimon. We're probably looking at maybe a big man here, power forward, somebody to come in and contribute once again right away. Yegor Dimon, we might be able to let sit for a little bit. Yaxel Lindenborg on the Thunder. He's not a lock to be in the draft, by the way. Like, JT Toppin's not even in the draft, but Yaxel Lindenborg, at least his name is still in the draft. Really talented player out of UAB. Could potentially be at Michigan next year, but if he sticks in the draft, definitely worthy of a first-round pick. Really love his game out of UAB. And if he does wind up at Michigan, they just win a national championship, right? Like, their team is stacked next year. Elliot Cadeau's there as well. Like, just a stacked team. Shout out to Merez Johnson, who's also there now. The Magic... We had them selecting Jace Richardson. We talked about a center. We didn't go center. Do we take Janai Broom here? You know what? I'm going to... This is probably going to make some people in the comment section mad. We're taking Ryan Kalkbrenner. The bigger man. I think Janai Broom kind of plays a little bit too similar to some of the guys they already got, the Wendell Carters, the even to an extent a little bit of Paolo to his game. Obviously not nearly as good as Paolo in terms of, like, Paolo could be like a future Hall of Famer type player, but Janai Broom, really solid, really good role player in the NBA, I would imagine. Danny Wolf, Con Knipple. We got to get a point guard on this roster, and this might be where we go Nolan Traore. Not a huge fan of him personally, but I do know a lot of NBA scouts are interested in him. I have not done much digging into Nolan Traore's game, but a player there that definitely people think are going to go first round. I just don't know too much about him to really give my stamp of approval there on. We get to the Nets again. Like I said, the Nets, man. Ben Serif, I don't think he should be here. I really am interested in him. He's This is we're gonna bring up his stats here, but 6'6", gonna play that the 2 or 3. But when you go over Dream Fit Bowls, this would be interesting, but we're not taking him inside the top 15. We're gonna where are we gonna have Manu Ginobili, Jarrett Culver, Tyreek Evans, like interesting range of outcomes there. But I do think he's going to be a solid NBA player. I think he will at least be able to be a bench guy for some teams. The Nets, congrats, I guess. The Celtics, they are going to be mad because Kalkbrenner is off the board, but Janai Broom is on the board. I'm taking Janai Broom, and I'll tell you why. Chris Stapps, I can't trust his health. Luke Cornett, he's okay. Al Horford's old as dirt. These guys aren't even really on the roster. I don't even know if Xavier Tillman's on the roster. But Al Horford, this guy's like 40 years old and still playing in the NBA. Shout out to him, though. He's still pretty solid. Luke Cornett is Luke Cornett. Like, I'm not sweating over Luke Cornett, to be honest with you. We don't need guards, though. Janai Broom is going to be a star in the making. I think you put him on this team, he is a guy that not necessarily can be like an all-star or anything, but he's definitely a guy that will be a consistent starter for 5-10 years. Like, really good player. I just don't know that there's really a next level to his game that we haven't seen yet. We get to the Suns, man. The Suns. This team is a disaster. They desperately need point guard help. This is just disgusting. This group is not. I'd be very disappointed in this group. Bradley Beal has not been as you'd hope. Devin Booker's your guy, but you leave him with Bradley Beal, who's not doing too well. KD, who might be getting traded. I really like Ryan Dunn. Bobo hasn't been that great. Also, Iguodala, I do like maybe as a backup there. Nick Richards, I was actually really high on. Just not a good team. Walter Clayton sitting there. This is a team that's kind of in a weird spot of competing, but also just not being that good. Walter Clayton is a guy. He's a competitor. He just won a national championship. He's gotten better every single year of his career. He is a guy that I trust running the offense. The problem is, it's still the Suns. But Walter Clayton, congratulations. You are a first-round pick. I really like his game. I think he should be a first-round pick. Then we get to the Clippers. Walter Clayton, guess what? If you didn't go to the Suns, you'd be going to the Clippers because this is also disgusting. James Harden, he's okay. Norman Powell's, I think they're paying him a lot. Kawhi's obviously there. Big men, not in love with anybody. This team is. I'm sorry to my boys that are. I know some guys that are Clippers fans. I really am sorry. Jalen Behringer is interesting, but this team just can't develop many guys. Like, look at their roster and tell me who they developed. I think they drafted Amir Coffey. Cam Christie's there, I guess. Who here did they develop? Kobe Brown. They drafted him. Did they? I don't remember if they drafted Zubac or not, but these are all guys that just came in and kind of were just inherited, right? Like, go get me the Kawhi insurance, I guess. I don't know if I can talk myself into Jalen Behringer here. I don't know if I want to really go Boogie Flan's option. Maybe Tyrese Proctor. He's interesting, kind of a jumbo guard as well. Ben Seraph would have been nice here. Miles Bird, maybe an option. Cam Jones, really good player, but I just don't know if he really fits this team. I think Adu Thero's my guy. I really am high on Adu Thero. I like his two-way ability that he showed at Arkansas last year. And when he was down for this, like for the rest of the season, there was a obvious difference between them with and without him. So I feel bad in terms of kind of what the Clippers situation is. But Adu Thero is your guy there. Not necessarily a huge need, but definitely some Kawhi insurance once Kawhi moves on from the Clippers. I really do like Adu Thero's game, and I think in 2 or 3 years he will be a guy that you can rely on to start. That might be bold. People might be like, hey, you're kind of dumb for saying that. No, Adu Thero's that good. Like, I trust Adu Thero. Let's see here who some of my favorite fits are. I really love this Kasper Shakashonis fit, obviously. big fan of Illinois guys. Dylan Harper, if this happens, huge fan. Ace Bailey, huge fan if this happens. Coop, I love Coop, but I hate that he's going to the Mavericks. VJ Edgecombe, I don't love the fit here, but he's the next best player. Like, let's be real. Trey Johnson, I think it's just a guarantee he'll be the 5th player off the board. I don't necessarily love the defense there. I really like Kaman Malawach's upside there, but I don't know if I like the fit. Con Knipple, with what's on the board, yeah. Derek Queen, love the fit. Jeremiah Fears, best player available. Colin Murray Boyles, that's who I would take with current team. Thomas Sorber, if he does end up on the Hawks, that's going to be nasty, by the way. Would be a great pick for them. Yegor Dimon, this would be a dream scenario. Jace Richardson, like I said, Cole Anthony. Nick Clifford competes right away. Rasheer Fleming, I think, could definitely run that 4 or 5 for you there alongside Alex Sarr. A little bit of a safe option there. Danny Wolf. Walter Clayton would love this for him. Janai Broom would love it. So, yeah, Yaxel Landenborg, I would really love that. Kalkbrenner, I would really love that. Adu Thero, really high on him. Basically, what I'm telling you guys is a lot of these older players that are potentially going to go late first round, they're good. Like, they're first-round picks for a reason. And when you look at, like, a Yaxel Landenborg, guess what? He's getting offered a lot of money to stay at Michigan for a reason. Because he's a really good basketball player. But obviously, the end goal for these guys are the NBA, so you'd expect maybe some of them stick around and then go into the NBA. But yeah, I mean, if this were the way the draft would go, I'd be happy for the Bulls. Obviously, I'd be happy for the spots that my Illinois boys go to. But very interesting draft that we have. As the combine goes about, and we see kind of more information about these teams and where to expect players' ranges to begin and to end. We will do more of these, but thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.